I'm going to admit up front that I'm not sure how to pronounce either the title of this game or the username of the developer, and to make myself hopefully look a little less dumb, I won't even make an attempt in this video to do so. Suffice to say, this game is the developer's first completed project to my knowledge, and because of that, I'd like to take a second to say that this review isn't intended to just be harsh criticism for no reason, nor should the developer take it as a affront to their potential. I will also admit that I did have fun with this game, but it doesn't save it from being a technical failure, and therefore not something I can give a good rating to in good faith. With that out of the way, it's time to dive into the game itself. On the story side of things, the game utilizes a basic excuse plot, where you play as a noble warrior, sent on a quest to slay some kind of great evil, taking up residence in an ancient ruin, like always. And while the basic nature of the plot doesn't offend me, I'm far less forgiving towards the simple nature of the playable characters. Most of them only get a few lines which I could easily fit onto your standard sized note card. In my opinion, a RPG with a simple plot needs to sell itself based on its gameplay and characters. And it's hard to find characters compelling when they are heavily lacking in terms of characterization and motivation. Another issue with the game is I'm not sure if it's meant to be a simple RPG, or a botched attempt at a parody of a simple RPG. The final exchange between the main character and the boss hints at a possible parody, but the rest of the work is so lacking in terms of lampooning the genre by ratcheting everything up a notch or 10 that I'm just not sure what to think. Maybe the scene was meant to give the main character a little personality, but it feels a bit late in the game to be doing that before the final boss battle. On the gameplay side of things, this game is such a mess, it's hard for me to think of anything positive to say about it, and to save on time, I'm going to list my problems off. 1. The enemies in this game are largely too weak to hurt the playable characters. 2. The game makes it too easy to get cash in order to purchase stat increasing items, and those items are far too powerful for how inexpensive they are. 3. The final boss is a weakling that can be crushed with a single mighty blow. 4. The playable characters are allowed to hit their targets multiple times, which further unbalances the combat system. 5. One of the playable characters is allowed to attack 2 different targets with 3 hits apiece. And I apologize if that list was poorly ordered, but I'm functioning on about 3 hours of sleep at the moment, so my brain isn't firing on all cylinders. Graphically speaking, the mapping in this game feels sloppy. On the world map, you can simply walk through multiple tiles that represent a town without entering it. Another issue that I noticed is that you can't leave the graveyard without taking damage, since the last square you need to step on in order to exit the area is covered in poisonous swamp water. Another problem with the game is that most of the areas are interconnected, even if that connection doesn't make a lick of sense. And yes, I'm aware the developer claims to have connected the maps this way for the convenience of the player, but these connections don't make sense logically and make the game world seem smaller than it is. Though to end on a positive note, the dungeons are a decent size. The soundtrack is decent, but I'm pretty sure all the tracks are lifted from the RTP for RPG Maker VX, so there isn't anything here to give the game a unique feel or identity. Despite all the flaws I mentioned, the game is fun to play, but this doesn't save the game from its long list of technical failures. As such, I can't give this game a high score or really recommend it unless you're looking for a game where you can walk through your enemies like an unstoppable juggernaut.